Welcome to another edition of Tech Talks with me, Rob Brown, and Jeremy Hyman. Jeremy, you talk to accounting firms, networks, professional associations all the time about what's working and what isn't, not just in the area of technology, but general people management. And what's caught your eye this week?
I've had quite a few people who have been retiring out of their job as IT manager or IT director after quite long and occasionally illustrious careers.
Does it have a long shelf life, those kind of roles?
Well, so I get consulted with on who to hire to replace these people.
Okay, succession.
And it's a very different job. You know, so the IT manager of old, who's been in that job for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, had to be like Scotty on the Enterprise, right? Had to understand how the engines worked and get things together when they were looking a bit iffy and squeeze a bit more power out and extend the life of systems.
For those of you not old enough, that's a reference to the early Star Trek ones with Captain Kirk as the captain, but yeah.
It's scary that there are people watching this that don't know that. Correct. Yeah. Absolutely, but we needed engineers in our engine room who could make things work. And really over the past 2-3 years, I suppose, maybe a little bit longer, each refresh of infrastructure, each change has seen more and more people move to cloud services. And so the skill set that we used to need of that deeply technical ability to an extent has evaporated. And we're seeing very different hiring patterns coming in. Really, you know, infrastructure awareness is declining, but things like security awareness are very much on the increase. And it's changing the nature of the resource we need there.
Yeah, and in a hybrid world, a remote world, people are working from home. Data is now spread across many different offices and locations and even countries, cultures and boundaries. So there is a better need for security awareness.
Yeah, security, privacy, these topics haven't gone away and they remain the responsibility of internal IT in my view. Whereas the operation, the mechanics, the infrastructure, those can all be outsourced and be given to someone else. But no one cares about your data as much as somebody within the business does. And
you've talked in previous interviews about the sheer amount of data that professional firms are acquiring these days and how they process that.
Yeah, they're swamped. They're swamped in terms of processing, in terms of analytics, but also in terms of compliance and kind of keeping within a rule set. It's extremely difficult. And also as firms start to expand their boundaries, they don't always have an awareness of their duties. So I've been working with a few US firms who feel they are not within the GDPR provisions, but they are if they're working on European, and for that matter, for the moment, at least British data. So people have got to be very aware of their responsibilities.
So professional firms, if they're assessing whether their current IT managers are fit for purpose or whether they're recruiting new IT managers to replace those that are leaving, what considerations should be in their mind?
I think a move away from traditional technical skills, networking, infrastructure, communications, those can all be bought in and are commodity items, and a move toward two things. First of all, this awareness of security, privacy, data value, and second of all, the interoperation of systems. That still remains by far and away the hardest and most complex area of system management, the interplay between different various softwares and services and how that flow can be optimized and maintained.
Just a thought though, Jeremy, you're talking about a lot of language there that is alien perhaps to the managing partner or the person that would be making those hires in a firm. That's, I guess, where they bring you in as a technology expert to help them with that process.
Yeah, what managing partners want is assuredness. They don't want to be waking up in the middle of the night worrying about any of the things that I've just said.
Precisely.
And yes, we absolutely help them recruit the right people within the firm and suppliers to make sure that of the various things that they certainly do have to worry about, this is not one of them.
Yeah, and in closing, Jeremy, what is going to happen to the firms that get IT recruitment wrong?
They will suffer at scale, is the answer to that. In the same way that IT, when it is correct, benefits the whole firm, IT, when it's wrong, damages the whole firm. Yeah. And therefore, it's one of the key factors in a successful firm nowadays.
Yeah, it's a stark message. Thanks so much for your time and your insights today, Jeremy.